time.
Welcome back to One Leg at a Time, the podcast about health, wellness, fun, recovery, and music. I'm your host, Dr. Deen Anbar, and I'm interviewing other musicians and creatives about their process, their priorities, and the things that they do to achieve their goals. And today we have Ruth Nichols, aka Ruth Trumpets.
Hello.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Well, this is my first podcast, so
Cool.
a little nervous, but I'm okay.
Now you have nothing to be nervous about. We're just going to kibitz. That's Jewish for bullshit.
Yes.
Are you Jewish?
No.
No. Sorry.
It's all good.
All right. So you're here. This is your first podcast. Well, what have you been up to?
Well, we've been in our recording phase.
Have you?
So, like, in my house, it's a studio, mostly. Mm-hmm. We do live there, but, you know, it's all, the whole front room is, like, the pianos, the synths, the keyboards.
That's awesome.
Microphones. I have, like, my own little setup in another room.
Okay.
But, yeah, we did a recording session with the band for, like, our next LPC album, Little Polycactus album. And it was just the rhythm section this time.
Yeah.
So the first album we recorded in our living room, just live with everyone.
Wow.
And, you know, we really wanted that live presence of just the energy that you get, you know.
I do.
It's just different when you're isolated in booths.
The energy of a live performance is almost impossible to recreate in a studio.
Yeah.
And even then, I think that the key to it is, like, if you have some people there, that helps so much.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone producing?
I mean, Adam does most of the production in terms of anything in the box. And the mixing. He did the mixing for the album. We had a guy in Germany or something master it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's basically, we had a friend engineer.
Okay.
And we had another, like, his brother is a videographer. So he was there, like,
Nice.
in, like, weaving around the band.
Yeah.
With his camera in this cactus costume.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then he had, like, the 360 cameras. So that's how we did, like, our visual
Yeah,
filming.
okay, cool.
For the first, so the whole thing was, like, filmed while we were recording it. And we did, like, 4 or 5 takes per song. It was over 2 days.
Nice.
So it was grueling in a good way.
That sounds awesome. I didn't know about any of that. Yeah, the reason I asked about a producer is because it does help, or at least what I should say is I'm, like, finally at a place in my life where I can accept that I am not, like, the ultimate knower of how something should go, you know? And so just having someone else to bounce ideas off of, or to say, like, no, if you want this thing, like, try doing this, you know, somebody who's, like, who I essentially am saying I trust implicitly to, like, give me direction on something that I would otherwise not know how to do.
I think having an outside producer in that way is really useful if you have a good relationship with them, like if you're on the same page.
Sure.
About the concept and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Adam and I are kind of a feedback loop of that to each other frequently when we're making the music, when we're thinking about set lists even for the band. When anything that we do or that we do for the band is usually just we bounce that kind of energy.
Okay.
So if he's working on something, he usually asks me to come and listen to it. Do I, you know, is the bass doing too much? Does he need to, like, add more pads here? Does he need to do this or that?
Yeah. Who writes most of the stuff? Do you guys do it together?
We do. It's kind of been back and forth. So the album we released, I think, well, one of the songs, like the intro, outro, were just jams. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of jamming to kind of just, you know, get a feel for the space. Just, you know, just the setup, how everything sounded in the headphones and all that. But Adam wrote a lot of the songs on the album. The first track, The Whales, we wrote together.
Cool.
And that's from a previous collaboration that we did together.
Yeah.
For, like, our first EP. But I've written a lot of songs that we play live.
Nice.
And then there's a lot of songs that we've written together that we are recording more of those now.
Okay, cool. What's it like writing with a partner?
Yeah. There's a certain flow that works really well of, like, for example, like, if he's, like, starting to create a beat of some kind, or like I have like a snippet of a melody that I've recorded or I have in my head, or it's like a voice memo or something, and he's inspired by it. Like sometimes, you know, it's like that information will be there and he'll just like start kind of forming kind of like the drums, the bass, kind of the more rhythmic elements.
Yeah.
And then like we'll usually write chord progressions together. Sometimes he'll do like the A, I'll do the B. We'll kind of tweak each other's progressions. Sometimes it'll just be all him, and I'll be doing a bunch of melody stuff, harmonies, stacks, the little things in the productions are the kind of the stuff that I like to focus on.
Yeah.
We met at a jam session. Well, it wasn't a jam session. It was like a show, like a DIY show in like Little Ethiopia. And he was playing in a different band, and I was playing in the band before, but I knew the drummer. And so I sat in, we met that night. He was friends with a close friend of mine, and she kind of, I think, noticed that we would get along, and so she had us hang out more together.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he started producing some of my solo stuff, and eventually I was just like, you know, we could just hang out. Yeah. We don't need a musical excuse.
Like Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez.
Is that how that happened?
Yeah, I actually just listened to an interview when he talks about it, and he was like, I didn't know that we were even on our first date. I was producing her record, and she was like, do you want to go and get food? Oh. And I don't know, I was kind of like, wow. You know, and if Selena Gomez asks you to hang out, I guess you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot of hits and worked with a ton of people.
He's a hit machine.
So I think if he wanted to say no, I feel like he could, but that would be silly.
He sounded like lovingly oblivious to what was going on, you know? And I don't know, they seem sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I also wanted to ask you about this. So at the time that you and I met, you were working for the Claire Fisher Foundation or Association or something, right?
It's like the estate.
The estate, yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that job? Or now are you still doing it?
I am not doing that anymore. So it was a multiple part job. It was kind of whatever title I wanted to give myself. According to Brent, he was like, just, if you want a nicer title than assistant, like you can make it up. I don't care. I'm like, okay.
It's nice to have a little bit of freedom.
He was like, try communications director. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
It was, you know, I worked for them remotely when I lived in Toledo, Ohio. Actually, I got the job when I lived in Denver. And when I moved back to Toledo, I continued the job because it was all remote. It was a lot of, at first, creating like the social media accounts that didn't really exist for Claire Fisher. And then Brent, his son, who runs that whole enterprise, essentially, working with his accounts. So it was like, you know, just kind of the stuff that a busy musician is like, I need someone else to do this because I'm arranging with Questlove or something.
Sure.
And it's like, fair.
Yeah.
And I was like a nobody in like that had left Denver, was kind of back at home in the Michigan, Toledo area. And it gave me a chance to do a lot of things, like formatting albums, like for CDs, like in Adobe.
That's like really helpful skill, I think, for any musician to have.
Just, you know, it's like Jewel or whatever the companies, they have layouts for how things look. I would do stuff like that. I would do a lot of online digging for royalties. Just like places, just looking at different places where it's like, it's been uncollected because like Claire Fisher died shortly after I started working for them. So I never got to meet him.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, when I moved to LA, that was part of the reason why. Because I knew Brent and I was like, maybe I can play in the big band. Maybe he'll connect me to people. You know, I don't want to die in Toledo doing nothing, you know?
Yeah.
I had a lot of really great friends there, but it's just such a sad place.
When you say Toledo, wait, Ruth, where are you from?
I was born in Hawaii.
Oh.
My parents lived there for like 7, 8 years.
Okay.
And they had me kind of at the end. And then they moved to Florida, well,
Cool.
with me and my sister. But and then Michigan is where we ended up. It's where my dad's from.
Got it.
So he inherited his mom's the farmhouse, whatever.
Okay.
That was passed down.
So is Toledo, Michigan?
It's Ohio.
It is Ohio. That's
but
what I was
it's
like.
right by, so like Michigan.
I'm trying to picture in my head because my
Toledo's
memory
like
of like
here.
Toledo's right, because Michigan goes that way.
It's like Ohio
Yeah.
and Michigan. It's right on the line.
Right.
And there was a war over it.
Dude, I love state line wars.
Well, I don't remember if it was like the 1800s or something, but yeah, there was the Toledo War, and it was like, I don't know, less than 2 weeks long, and Ohio won, I guess.
Back then, you could really shut something down like that pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they brought their guns out and fought it out, I
That'll
guess.
do it, yeah.
So, people are like, stop doing this.
I remember when I was a kid, because I grew up like just north of Chicago, and I remember learning in like 4th grade that where I lived could have also been Wisconsin if like a war had played out a little differently.
Okay.
And then we would have all been from Wisconsin. And I was like, thank God. No, nothing against Wisconsin. I've actually really come to love Midwest, Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, the whole thing. It's lovely.
I like Michigan.
Except Iowa.
Yeah, well, I would sub out Nebraska as my
Wow.
least favorite.
Of the Midwestern states.
Yeah, it's
Where do we fall in Kansas? The band or the state?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to Kansas that often. Like,
Me neither. Kentucky?
I've only driven through it.
Yeah, I went to Louisville. Yeah, that's how you have to say it though.
Oh, okay. I've only been there once, but
I went for an Elvis convention.
Wow.
oh, okay.
Did you dress up?
Well, I wasn't actually in it.
Oh, that's good.
It was kind of, yeah. It was,
I don't know. I mean, if that makes you happy, it's fine.
did it make me happy? I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's a memory.
Okay.
Hey, do you want to spin some questions on a wheel?
Sure.
All right, cool. So,
Invisible
previous
wheel.
guests of the podcast will know that I have 4 wheels full of questions. They're not really arranged in any kind of specific way. So I guess considering that, pick a number between 1 and 4.
2.
2. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to tap the center of the wheel where it says spin.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's see what question it comes up with. Gotta put some music in here. Oh my God, there's an ad. Sorry, this podcast sucks.
This brief intermission is brought to you by Spin. Spin the wheel. This past year at Burning Man, there was a whole group of people in center camp that their whole thing was to say spin the wheel at people. And then like
Did they have a wheel?
Yeah, they would
Okay.
go up and they would spin the wheel. But everyone had to chant, spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Physical
Spin
wheel.
the wheel. Yeah, physical wheel.
Okay.
But they would spin it and there was all kinds of things on it. Like I think the one I got was like I had to like tell a secret that I'd never told anyone else.
I love that.
And I was like, I couldn't think of anything, so I was unpopular with the crowd.
Well, you got to make something up.
It was too on the spot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get that. Well, I was going to ask you because you are a burner.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
4 times now.
That's pretty impressive. What do you like about Burning Man? What keeps you going back?
It's one of the few places that feels like a community. The Jazz Cafe, which is like the Playa Jazz camp or whatever, is like my home base. And there are a lot of musicians from LA and San Jose that make up that group. And, there's a bunch of non-musicians that make the camp what it is as well.
Yeah.
We had 4 chefs in our camp
Wow.
this past time, and the food was incredible.
Yeah, I bet.
And these 2 Italians that run, like one of them runs a Michelin star restaurant
That's so cool.
in San Jose, or I don't know, it's some expensive Italian place, but they
Yeah.
were making us food, and I don't know. It was wild.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, the stories that I've heard from Burning Man are obviously nuts.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, you got to love it.
It's great. And like, it really is a place where people aren't judging you. Generally, like you don't feel like that eye on you of like, oh, you don't look good in that, or like, oh, like, why are you doing that?
Well, half the people are naked.
Yeah.
They're not wearing.
People are however they want to be.
Yeah.
And like, I think the joy in not like making that a conversation point, unless if they like it's a thing they want to talk about personally.
Yeah.
Is nice.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like relieving. Yeah, you can get to so many other things if you just take that element out.
When you said that the community is really strong, outside of the couple of weeks that Burning Man is every year, do you have, like, are those connections ongoing through the year?
Well, so the LA group, we're pretty tight these days, but it's a lot of musicians that you know as well. Like Guy.
I know people who are going to Burning Man.
Guy.
Oh yeah, Guy is such a burner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guy. Well, I met Yuval at Burning Man.
Really?
And Guy is the kind of the big connector, I would say. But it's like a bunch of people throughout the years. Like Nora used to go and play bass. I don't know. There's just lots of people that have made their way out there.
So when you go, you're playing.
Yeah, every night, 10 to 2.
Wow.
Sometimes it goes till 4.
That's
Doesn't
awesome.
matter. No rules. So
No rules. Do
and
what
it's
you want.
packed. The tent that we build is like
Yeah.
completely packed every night.
Because you're doing what you're doing there, do you have like accommodations that are, how would I put this? Is it a step above most other people's experience? Like, do you have showers?
Well,
That's my question.
okay.
Do you have showers?
Well, that's like that you can't. It's per camp or per situation. You may have your own personal like solar shower thing.
Okay.
But like, if your camp doesn't have a shower, then there's
okay.
There are other like camps that offer there's a car wash camp. Basically, you go through it. You have to be naked and like you get scrubbed down by someone else. It's all consensual. So if you're not, I've never done that. I would not be comfortable with that. But
Then don't go.
But many people are, and they get scrubbed clean.
Yeah.
And then everyone's rinsed off, and then there's a dance party after.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing about a Dr. Bronner's tent
Yes.
that was maybe along
That's one
those
of the
lines.
main ones. Yeah.
Are you ready to answer this question?
Okay.
It's
back to
it's a doozy.
Oh no. Okay.
The question is, what helps you when you are struggling?
Is there like a lane of struggle you would like to focus on?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Because if it's more in like the career or music area, I would say that I've been for probably the past year and a half, like in a financial struggle. So I used to shut down like completely and really retreat.
Yeah.
When that was the case, because like you can't afford to go out anywhere. It's really hard not to get peer pressured into like also purchasing something.
Totally.
And like also you want to, if you're going to be at a business, you want to support it, especially if your friends are playing music, because it doesn't look good if you don't buy something. Parking.
Oh yeah.
The commute, the time it takes, to get places, and
The gas it costs to get there. Yeah. I mean, like,
yeah.
I've been in that situation too, where it's I don't even know where to start because it's just like it feels very hard to do anything when that's like weighing over you.
And it's, generally like things have just been really up and down. Like I'll have a really good month and then a really bad month, which is probably every musician, artist of any kind can like relate to that because it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like there was a point where I just felt like after 2022 that like things would only get better.
Yeah.
At least like with how busy I was gigging and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just fluctuates.
It does. And it's so hard to see that when you're in it. When you're in a busy period and you're like, well, obviously it'll be like this forever. And you start buying the blue algae juice or, you know, whatever, maybe get an Aviator Nation hoodie or something. Cause you're like, obviously I'm one of the rich people now. And then it slows down and you're like, well, I can't believe it. I'm back to counting however many apples I'm about to buy because, you know,
you're like, oh, I should have saved that money.
Yeah. It is such a real challenge. And, you know, to go back to what you were saying about like, oh, we're in the studio now, whatever. I was like, because the reality is when I did start doing the show, the concept for doing this show started at a point where things were really busy and I'd been wanting to do it for like a year and I just never had time to sit down and do it. And then things slowed down to the point where I was like, I finally have the chance to actually execute this idea of talking to people because I want to. Mm-hmm. But of course that coincided with a drought, you know, and it was just like, I don't have a single cent to spend on any of this. But it kind of made me double back and go like, but I also don't have to. Like I have a phone and I was gifted these little Bluetooth clip-on mics and that's literally all I need. I'll go to people, I'll go to where they are and like we'll sit down and I'm going to teach myself like what it is to kind of do a show and just have people talk to me because this is all I need right now. And I learned a lot from doing it that way. And then I was just kind of looking critically at what I could do to elevate the show if at all possible. And I wanted to try and do stuff like this. And like right now I can. I mean, who knows? I might be back to doing it in people's backyards again, you know, but I get it. And it can feel, what's the word? I mean, it can feel like it's just like this weight on your chest when you don't have any mobility because it's like, I don't know if this has ever happened to you or anyone in this room. Like my bank account has gone in the negatives, you know? I kind of, and I'm not, this is not financial advice. This is spiritual and holistic advice. When you go into debt like that, or you literally can't spend money that you don't have, you still wake up in the morning, you know, like the world still spins. Like, yeah, it's stressful as fuck. Like there's no denying that. But I think that like, you know, removing the thought of like, well, I'm not going to go to jail for this, you know, like I'm not going to, I don't know, like you still have a certain amount of mobility just in the sense of like, if you talk to someone about what's going on, it's like, you know, maybe I can push back my rent for a few weeks or however long it has to be. It's just like, I'll be okay. Like, it's not like you die like in a video game, like it's, or something, I don't know. And I kind of had to like get okay with the fact that like, it wasn't always going to be okay. But that doesn't mean that I'm not okay. Like if I can just push through this and like whatever I got to do, you know, maybe start singing songs outside of the Erewhon or something. I don't know. So I'm saying that because that was sort of like the first time I ever had to struggle with something like that. And then kind of like just getting to a place emotionally where I was like, I can't let this be the reason why I don't continue to try to achieve, you know? Because it's not real. It's just a number on a screen, you know. I'm still alive. Yeah. So I guess my question to you would be like, if that's what's going on right now, I'm not suggesting that you have a negative balance in your account, but like if that, you know, you having brought it up, it's like, is there any kind of a tactic or anything that you've utilized to kind of get through a challenging period like that?
There's definitely been a lot of talking about it, like with my partner, with Adam, having someone who can support you, like mentally, like just to sit emotionally, just to like sit there and listen to you, and also like help you give yourself guidelines. Is like, it's like I can do so many things for other people, but when it comes to figuring out like, how do I dig myself out of this hole of like continually like having some good months and then a lot of bad months work-wise, and trying to figure out like, I've been in LA for 8 years. You know, it's like we could downsize, but then we'd be out a studio, and that's part of like, we both record for a living, and that's like Adam's daily work studio. And, you know, like the space we're really comfortable in it. And like for, you know, Adam's mental health, like it's also important to have like structure and not like change happening all the time. And this space is like part of like the structure.
Totally.
Yeah.
I spent my first probably like till 2022, beginning of 2022, I slept on a couch.
Yeah.
This whole time, like, you know, I was
Yeah.
like a 30-year-old person sleeping on a couch in LA because I was like, I don't want to get a job at Starbucks
Totally.
or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like that was the sacrifice I made for many years. And it was really hard not having privacy. And there just came a point where I really needed to invest in that. But people, when you're trying to rent a place or whatever, and like you don't have a pay stub or whatever, they ask for 4 times the deposit up front, for
Yeah.
example. And then like they withhold a whole month's, you know, they take from that and there's no recourse to getting it back.
Totally.
You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be ruthless, you know, but it demonstrates your commitment to this thing. Because like you said, like you could get the job at Starbucks or any other job, really.
Yeah. I mean, I have been job hunting a lot because like I want to, like, I'm going to be a musician till I am dead. That's just my calling in life.
Yeah.
But for a little bit, I need to figure out something else that will give me stability
Sure.
to kind of meet certain financial goals that I want to have.
Careful though, that money.
As an
Gets
basic,
I know. I
like
support
super
it.
basic financial goals. Just
Yeah.
getting out of debt, like being able to like pay, you know, like pay rent in full for for like forever,
Yeah.
or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like different things. It's like I need to get my trumpet cleaned. I would love to get a new flugelhorn. It's
I know.
like I can't do any of that till I get like a solid ground of like, you know, constant work
Totally.
for a while. You know, it's like I want to dedicate like a couple years to just constant full-time work.
Yeah, and I would imagine that it like you'll just feel better about it, everything, you know, when that's the case. No, I feel you. You know, because you know, I'm a doctor of music. I have toyed with the idea of what I'm going to do with that doctorate. Like, there's a pretty clear lane for people with my degree, which is to go and teach.
Yeah.
But my thought process is this: for those kinds of teaching jobs, it doesn't really make sense to stay in LA because, for the most part, an adjunct college faculty teaching job doesn't pay enough to make it worth it.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, then what would be the point of that? If I'm going to do it, I should just commit to it and like go somewhere where I can get, you know, a higher paying salary and just like I'll be a professor, which isn't like, it's not like I wouldn't want to do that, but there's just a lot of other stuff that I do want to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, not to mention the fact that college jazz departments are drying up faster than I don't know what. The Burning Man desert.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the place where I got my master's degree, I don't think they offer it anymore.
It's so funny. I was speaking to somebody else who has a podcast on the East Coast, and he's interviewing musicians on the East Coast, which is kind of ironic. But he was saying that his school, they just shut down their jazz department.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to continue to only hire dinosaurs with like no clue how to interact with humans.
There's
like,
that.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to start getting into the nitty gritty of, you know, music education and the issues there, unless you want to.
Where did you go?
My master's degree was at University of Toledo.
Oh, okay.
UT.
Yeah. it was free, so that's why I did it.
Yeah,
But,
Free is good.
and that's, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say no to, like, I love learning stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I love learning new skills. Like, I've been learning how to produce. Like, my partner's been teaching me, and I just explore on
Yeah.
my own. YouTube is a great teacher, obviously.
YouTube is definitely a great teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube University.
I've like
YouTube U.
even thought about like it would be fun to go to a trade school and learn how to work on cars. Yeah.
Actually, so funny enough, my sister is doing that where she's studying metalworking, and she's doing it at a community college, but they're shutting that program down.
Oh,
no.
God.
Oh, wait. Okay. You want to answer another question?
Sure.
Do you want to do this same wheel or do you want to pick another wheel?
Too many options.
Too many options? All right, spin on this wheel.
Because the wheel has options.
The wheel, okay, so I think that this wheel has some more dense questions.
Oh. Heavier question.
Heavier questions.
What's the fun wheel?
I don't know. Okay, this is a good one. What is the most beneficial tool that you've adopted for personal growth?
I have a wireless Xbox controller. That's a tool.
Do you have an Xbox? Or do you just have the controller?
Well, so we have like Adam's 360 from when he was growing up, but I just have like a Game Pass thing on my computer sometimes.
Okay.
And I just play I just use my laptop.
Wait, so how does that? Because I just don't really know that much about games. You use the controller with your laptop?
Yeah, just like pairs via Bluetooth. Oh. And like they have cloud streaming, like online gaming streaming.
That sounds fun. Should I start video gaming?
I can't see it.
It just depends. Like, if you're not into it, just don't get into it. Because, like, I haven't played video games at all this year.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I was playing Skyrim for a while, I just got sucked in. I would play, like, sometimes 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't good. It's like...
Yeah. No, I know. The few times in my life that I have played video games, like, and I'm such an addictive personality to begin with, that, like... Yeah, it completely just took over my whole life. Mm-hmm. And it usually coincided with challenging times in some capacity. Mm-hmm. Like, there was the month that I initially moved to New York City, which was such a culture shock. And, like, I had never, as an adult, lived outside of Chicago. And then, like, all of a sudden I'm in New York. And I'm like, World of Warcraft gives you a free month. I guess, let me just see. And, like, I barely left the apartment for that month.
Yeah.
You know? And I went to my classes because I was going to school, and I would go home, and I didn't want to meet new friends. It was terrifying.
Yeah, well, you've got all those friends in WoW.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be whoever you want. Yeah, it was...
I was a cat.
Were you?
Ooh. In Skyrim, yeah.
In Sky. I was like, hang on, a cat? I remember that. I remember killing a lot of, like, little forest beasts or something.
Forest beasts, okay. I've never played WoW. But
it's been a while.
I want to get back, like, when I am playing video games, I want it to be for fun because, like, I'm rewarding myself.
Yeah.
Because, like, maybe I submitted applications, I did some interviews that went well. Like, that would be, like, I could reward myself with, like, a couple hours of video game time.
Yeah, totally.
For that, you know. So I'm kind of... That's how I'm moving forward.
Well, people get
I don't know if that's personal growth, but...
No, but I think that it's like... I mean, I think that there's a time and a place for it, and I do believe that, like, playing a video game is a healthier option than, like, doing heroin. So I get, like, and the reason I said that is because I know people who also do heroin. So if they were like, I need to do something else, I might say to them, like, hey, have you ever tried video games? You know, or anything else. I don't know, for example. And I recognize that those are extremes, but yeah.
I like baking.
Ooh.
Baking, that's very cool.
I'm gluten-free and have been for like 10, 12 years now.
Yeah.
So like I've been doing a lot of like, there's like they make flour now that you can like make your own pasta and stuff. And like
they do.
Rolling some dough out, like, you know, working it into the lump and then
you're
rolling it out.
And,
like you're working through some energy. Like if you're trying to get energy out in your body that doesn't feel so good, like at least for me, baking has been really like relieving.
Yeah.
And like I'll just put a podcast on. It's like me and Ezra Klein just rolling the dough out.
I'm with you. My sister, who's getting a lot of shout outs this episode, is also gluten-free and has a lot of recipes that I'll send you. We were all in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. It was my dad's birthday. And we had gluten-free pasta, which frankly I wasn't a huge fan of. But she did make these cookies. And I think it was almond flour.
Okay.
And like the recipes... She had a couple of different things, but the cookies in particular were like, they were awesome. Okay. I'll get it and I'll send it over so you can test it out here.
Yeah.
You know, if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We were like melting chocolate in the thing and dipping and it Real nice.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I like doing stuff like that too. I don't know that I don't really have a lot of hobbies like that are sort of like all, fully immersive, baking, video games. Like when I'm not working, I don't know.
You do variations of working out.
That's true.
That's
That
like
is-
immersive.
It is. It's very
You're an
immersive.
outside person.
I know. Okay, so I do.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, and the reason why I gravitate towards those things is for that reason. Like it takes you out of yourself.
Yeah.
It takes me out of myself, I guess. So yeah. All right. No, I take it back. Here, let's do a different wheel. Are you a doom scroller?
Like people that like scroll on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
I don't like that. I
Good.
don't like anything I see on there.
Yeah.
Like, but I scroll on TikTok and I get mini forklift ads.
I get the weirdest ads on
Constantly.
TikTok. Well, the reason I
want one.
ask,
I know, me too, but it's like, I don't need it.
well, no, because I get that way too, where like I hit a wall, especially like a social wall, where I'll be just like, I'm done, and sometimes I never even had it to begin with.
Like, I search my friends and look and see what they're up to because it doesn't show me people I want to see.
Yeah. The algorithm changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I also can like seek refuge in front of the TV and just like let a Family Guy season just like wash over me.
Yeah.
But that isn't nearly as like destructive to my mental health, I think, as like 5 hours can go by.
Yeah.
Like just video after video on like, honestly, Instagram is probably the worst. But like, yeah, these apps that have like little short video platforms built into them, it's just like one after another after another.
Yeah.
And I say 5 hours because it was maybe like a month ago, I clocked that I had spent 5 hours. And it's just like, this is really bad.
This, the social media was recently, someone was calling it like basically like the cigarette
Yeah.
of our generation.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like thinking about like social media in that way because it is addictive. It is,
Yeah.
it's been tailored to be addictive in a way that like with a cigarette or something, you could open it up and see the ingredients. With any of this stuff, the algorithms, you can't see any of that.
No, you definitely can't.
And all this stuff that like I don't know if you know about the book about the Facebook whistleblower.
Oh, yeah.
Careless People or whatever.
No, not actually, I don't.
She like has a lot of higher up intel on like what the like Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg and stuff were up to. And like he was just like
They know.
they're so they're not here to help people.
Yeah.
They're there to make money and to crack the China market.
Yeah, I actually had heard some stuff like that. But then I saw the movie and I just thought he was so charming.
What movie?
Well, the movie was from a long time ago. At that point,
yeah.
he may have been a little more charming.
Little Jesse Eisenberg,
Yeah.
And we give these people so much of our information. And
But we should be
volunteer.
aware of what they're doing. You
Yeah.
know? It's like the fact that they like won't allow her to go on talk shows or podcasts to talk about her book because she signed an NDA at some point in her employment.
Oh, that's interesting. 'Cause
And, like,
yeah.
They're trying to like get the book banned. They're trying all kinds of things, but it keeps selling out. So
What's the name of that book again?
Careless People.
Careless
Yeah.
People.
Careless People.
Yeah, because if it's getting banned, if it's getting shadow banned, I want let's let the people know. Check it out.
Yeah,
It is now.
Sponsored by Mark Zuckerberg, hiding his secrets, selling all our information to China.
Answer one more question.
Okay.
And then this is from a different wheel, yeah. Okay, this question is, what's the first meal of your day?
Coffee.
That counts.
Okay.
What's the first food do you not really eat in the morning?
Well, if I'm awake in the morning, sometimes it's I make kale, a lot of kale.
Really?
It's like I'll make myself like gluten-free like grilled cheese and a bunch of kale, and that's usually like my breakfast lunch.
Do you eat the kale raw or do you like put it in the oven?
That was my
Dip it,
question,
kale
yeah.
chips?
I saute it.
Ooh.
the oven, it gets too crispy, and then it just gets in your teeth everywhere, and it takes forever to floss out. So
Yeah. I can't eat first thing in the morning. I do drink a lot of water like my only supplements that I take are essential amino acids and creatine. And I take those, and then I also drink a Celsius, which I know.
Those are his
Wow.
only.
Okay, but that's it. And they're very effective.
Yeah.
I'm pretty locked in, like, where the first food that I usually will have is the same every day, which is like a banana and some nuts. And then sometimes it'll be eggs, but guys, price of eggs these days.
I get so nauseous with like smelling eggs.
Really? You're not an egg person?
Sometimes I try, and I bake with eggs, of course,
Yeah.
but like
Well, that's different.
I don't know. I think it's like my dad had chickens for a while when we were growing up, and he made eggs every morning. And there's some kind of, I get so nauseous from it sometimes. And I like eggs. Like I like omelets, but like
Doesn't sound like you do.
I rarely eat them anymore,
Yeah.
but I've spent a lot of my life eating omelets. So
Yeah.
it's just strange. I don't know. Yeah.
I've also been just kind of switching things up because my diet has been like pretty consistent for the last like 3 years, and I just sometimes you want to fucking switch it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. I guess like my only routine is making coffee. Like I do pour over coffee.
Yeah.
I grind the beans, I boil the water, I do the,
Yeah.
the swirl.
I like doing it. I used to do that, but then I started drinking Celsius.
Sponsored by Celsius.
This one is, yeah. I mean, I'm an addict. What can I say? I love the caffeine.
Is that like 1,000% caffeine? What are they putting in those things?
They're putting in 1,000% of the caffeine. Yeah.
Like
No,
it's a bowl or something?
it's 200 milligrams of caffeine. There might be some bull parts. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Taurine?
Maybe.
Taurine?
Taurine.
Taurine? How do
Yeah.
you say that?
L-theanine. That might be in it.
What about yerba mate?
What about it? Okay.
Why don't
You know what?
Why
Yeah,
not?
exactly.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
No, not like the real stuff, the yellow can.
I don't like that either.
The yellow can, well, it is yerba mate, but it's like, it's flavored, sweet. It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's got sugar. Yeah.
I don't like sugary beverages, which is ironic because I love sugary stuff in general. But like a Coke Heavy versus like a Coke Zero, I'll always go for the...
What's a Coke Heavy?
With sugar, the regular Coke. That's what
just-
people who
like
have Coke
any
Zero
regular
call
like
Coke.
sugared soda. I always prefer the diet or the zero varietal
Okay.
because they quench me.
Do you know that the Coke Zero, it's just a marketing tactic. It's
Tell me.
the Zero and the diet, you could get, they're the same.
No, they taste different.
Sure, but it's not, like, I think maybe they use a different kind of sweetener.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, they use a
not-
different kind of sweetener. I know what it is, and I'm fine with it.
Okay. That's fine, yeah.
But no, it really does more. It has more to do with the way it's just like feels. Yeah. Speaking of bevs, should we do this thing? We're gonna try a new segment.
Okay.
Okay, this is a segment. I don't have a name for it yet, and I am pretty much stealing this from another podcast that I really like.
Okay.
But our producers are going to provide a drink for us. I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is.
Okay.
And the game is we're going to try to guess what it is.
Okay. Lapping it up. A beverage segment.
Beverage segment, trying it out. Beverage segment, what's it going to be about? We're going to take a sip and then.
Don't spit it out.
Nice.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4 drinks. Okay. All right, so this is a drink that our producer V has provided for us, and we're going to try it, and we're going to guess what it is. So, hey,
Can we smell it?
whatever
all
you
of your
want.
senses can be involved, except for sight, apparently.
Coconut water? Oh
my God, what is that? Okay, so it is carbonated.
Are the beverages
Lightly.
mixed at all with other things?
No.
Okay, they're also like
That would be very deceptive.
Yeah.
all by myself.
It's not sweet. God, what is this?
It has some coconut thing going on in it, but it's carbonated. It has some kind of like, dragon fruit, papaya. I don't know.
You kind of unlocked something for me when you
Yeah.
just said coconut.
I don't know any carbonated coconut beverages.
So I think I do.
Unless if
Oh,
they
but
make...
there's something pear in there too.
Yeah, there's some kind of off fruit, like hipster fruit in it or something.
Hipster fruit.
It's not... What's the word? Viscous?
Yeah, no, it's
The
like,
viscosity is light.
It's definitely not sweetened. It doesn't have any. It's like, yeah, like a light carbonated,
Yeah, like a Perrier or something.
something like that. But what is that flavor? It's not like a diet soda.
It's some kind of like dragon fruit, yuzu. It's like some kind of...
Like I feel like I've had an Olipop that kind of tastes like this.
I like the Olipop as a brand guess, but there's Poppy? Poppy? That's a new brand.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's probably not that if you're like, oh, yeah. I don't know. Flavor-wise, I'm going with coconut and dragon fruit
Okay.
or something.
Coconut and dragon fruit something. My guess was La Croix coconut flavored.
Overall, out of all of the things she had said, she's definitely the closest.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, when she was mentioning like the poppy thing, the yuzu, it's lychee flavor.
Lychee, that's it.
Lychee. Well, there was no way I was ever going to get that, and Ruth definitely gets the point. Congratulations on being the very first winner of this, as of yet, unbranded segment that we are stealing, but we are taking for ourselves. All right, well, this is awesome. Thanks for coming on and talking.
Yeah,
How
thanks
do you
for
feel?
having me.
Yeah.
Good, chill.
All right, go. Oh, there's one more thing that we have to do.
Okay.
Our sign off is you have to say, I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Oh, right. Yeah. You know, like it's like your version of the Beyonce. Like if you jump it, if you don't jump in these jeans, like anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Wow, Ruth. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Put your pants on one leg.